Hello, everyone, and welcome to the weekly Oracle Wisdom. My name is Natalie Sadie. For those of you that are here for the first time, I'm so sorry. My computer screens are just deciding to do a few different things. So, so I am just trying to get all of this set up in a way that I can be in the chat and doing the reading at the same time. So I hope that everybody is having a great week so far. It was Inauguration Day today and Martin Luther King Day. So it's been a big day here in the US. While I was waiting for the live stream to start, I had a couple of cards jump out. So we are going to get right into it. I'm starting with the Ascending Life Oracle deck. As we all know, it's my favorite deck at the moment. So the first card that jumped out was Owl, Deep Shadow Work, Witchcraft, Magic, Inner Wisdom, Spiritual Evolution, Learning Hard Lessons. So if you've been watching me for a while, you know that owls are one of my favorite animals in the whole world. They're very symbolic for me. And deep shadow work is something that a lot of people talk about. It's really difficult to do, and I understand why people are hesitant to sort of take the leap and dive into shadow work. But at the same time, it's one of the most freeing things that you can possibly do for yourself. And it seems like this week is one of the weeks where this is exactly what we need to be doing. We need to be taking a look at ourselves. We need to be taking a look at our triggers and why things are happening the way they are and what we can do to release that and to shift it. Witchcraft and magic, if that's your thing, be very careful when you're doing it. And if you are doing any of that sort of work, I I hope that it's all coming from a place of good and not from a place that we shouldn't be operating from. Inner wisdom, spiritual evolution. The reality is, if you're doing the deep spiritual work, the spiritual evolution just happens. It's part of doing that work. And the whole thing is, a lot of people go, "Oh, I did the shadow work." Shadow work never ends. There is no moment in time where we as human beings are absolutely perfect and there's nothing for us to work on. There is always more. And learning the hard lessons, I think that goes hand in hand with shadow work. It's facing our own demons, it's facing the work. It's facing the choices we have made that maybe don't suit us or that we wish that we hadn't, but we have to live with it. We have to accept the lessons, and all of these things and all of the lessons that we've learned have brought us to where we are today and made us the humans that we are. So don't be too hard on yourself when you're doing this work. The second card that jumped out was good health. Changing nutrition habits, setting up a workout program, work life balance, routine checkups at the doctor. So, this is your reminder that you need to be taking care of yourself. And maybe it's time to look at your diet. Maybe it's time to look at the exercise and movement that you're doing. And I mean, that could be a result of some of the shadow work that you're doing because you're realizing that you are not taking care of yourself, whether that be because you're focused on taking care of others or whether it's because life's difficult and you've given up for a little bit. Either way, you need to put yourself first. There is a reason why on aeroplanes, they tell you if you're traveling with a child or somebody else, you have to put the oxygen mask on yourself first before you can help anyone. If you are not taking care of you, then you are not going to have anything left in the tank to take care of the people around you. So self-care is so important, and putting your health and wellness should be above everything else. I always talk about the fact that I'm 45, but I can move better than most 20-year-olds because I have always done things and stayed active enough that my body is in a state that it keeps functioning really, really well. And the reality is, once your body locks up and once injuries happen and the flexibility is gone, to get it back to that state becomes so much harder because there's so much more crap stored within your body. So maintaining that is so important for your long-term health. So just keep that in mind. Okay, let's see what else we have going on this week. Good news. Messages, text, phone call. Someone has something to say, needing to communicate clearly, be open to listening. So we should always be open to listening and hearing what other people have to say, even if it's not something that we necessarily want to hear. Sometimes the information is incredibly valuable. Messages, text, phone calls. I mean, it's always great when somebody calls us to say something and somebody has something to say. So make sure you're listening this week. Again, don't get so caught up that you shut everybody and everything out. Okay, so the next card is coldness, absence of love, love life is blocked, frozen in some area of your life, emotions buried deep within. If this is how you're feeling, like everything is sort of stuck and you're missing some major pieces, this is where it's really important to do the deep shadow work. This is how you unlock all of this. I've been speaking for the last few weeks about a lot of the work that I have been doing, and the person I've been working with has agreed to come and do Gemini Rising with Anne and I. We're really excited. I believe it will be February 3rd. I'm just waiting for confirmation. So we're going to do a big deep dive into the work that we did. It's incredible. But the reality is, I'm someone who knows themselves pretty well. If people ask about who I am as a person, I can very clearly articulate all of that. Doing this deep work, I knew it would be transformational. But in the process, I learned so much about myself. And there were certain blocks that as well as I know myself, I did not know that they existed or were in place. And so I'm having to find a way to let go of some of these hang-ups, knock down these walls that I have. And it's me that's creating those blocks. And it's because of past experiences, past relationships, all of that. And so it's up to me to shift it. And it's very confronting when you realize what it is you're doing and how you're sabotaging yourself. But shadow work and doing really deep transformational work is the way that you're going to shift it. So maybe at this moment in time, just having the recognition that there's work that needs to be done and taking that first step is all you need to do at the moment. But just know that that's there. And it takes someone strong to be able to have those realizations. So if you get to that point where you have that understanding and you are able to pinpoint where some of this work needs to be done, give yourself props for that, because it's not the easiest thing to do. Finances, financial issues are a factor, trying to generate more income, good, bad financial changes, clearing debt. So being on top of your finances is something that we all need to do. And at times in our lives, I think for all of us, or almost all of us, there are moments where it feels out of control. So this is a week for you to focus on that, what it is you need to do differently, what changes need to be made long term, where you're making good decisions, where maybe you need to tighten the belt a little bit, and clearing debt. There is nothing worse than having a huge debt hanging over your head. So if there is a path forward where you're able to consolidate, pay things down so that you can free yourself and give yourself freedom moving forward, do that. All right, I'm just going to pull one more from this deck. So the final card is magnetic, seduction and charm, attracting things in life, attraction, sorry, to someone or something, hard to resist something or someone. So again, we have this coldness card in the middle of this, but I think that again, when you start doing the work and recognizing where those blocks are and you free yourself of it, this is where you end up. You're able to attract and manifest the things in life that will serve you and create a much better and a much more fulfilling life for you. All in all, I think this is a good spread. I mean, it is a week to focus on you. It's a week to focus on what changes you need to make on your health, on your self-care, on where you're creating these blocks for yourself. And the financial element can be a little tricky at times. With that being said, though, it's all for your higher good and your betterment. So make sure that you focus on those things. We're moving on to the Angels and Ancestors Oracle cards, which is a Kyle Gray deck. And this is my favorite deck of Kyle's. I love this deck. And I mean, we started the reading with an owl. This is the back of the cards. Okay, so this one just jumped out. Hunter, track down your fears and desires. So this one is a confirmation of the shadow work. So it's ironic that that was the card that jumped out of both decks. So in doing the shadow work, it's about being honest in what you want out of this life and how you can actually go about achieving that and how you can start attracting or manifesting that into your life. Lord, take charge with authority. So when this card comes out, the first thing that I think of is taking charge of a situation, but I actually think this is more about taking charge of your life. We're in the new year where we're now in what, the third week, or tomorrow, the 21st will be the third week. At the beginning of the new year, most people have resolutions that they want to they want to achieve in the new year. And then this year, especially if you're in Southern California, if you were in any of the fire affected areas, everything kind of stopped and came to a standstill. And I think I talked about it in last week's reading that it felt like we were still in that in between period of New Year's and Christmas where all sense of time and space kind of disappears and we're just trapped in this weird world where time is standing still. Now that that's over, and I realize that that's sort of very specific to Southern California, where the wildfires were, but it's time to take charge of your own life. It's time to start creating the changes that you need to achieve the resolutions that you've set forward for yourself. And the whole thing is, if you achieve your resolutions, make more. I'm forever making more and more resolutions and goals as the year goes on. I don't keep it strictly to New Year's Eve because I think that life is very fluid. Things change and you have to be able to go with the flow and don't lock yourself into something that can't be changed or shifted at all because you're just locking yourself into something where maybe it needs to be something different and it will create a better outcome for you. The next card is Great Teacher, learn from spiritual experiences. I feel like a lot of this reading is coming back to the shadow work that we are meant to do and the changes we're meant to implement. And a lot of it is going to come from within this week. So take the time and the stillness to be able to go to that place. So the card that just jumped out is Star Ancestor, follow the voice of your soul. We've been getting a lot of cards like this over the last few weeks with these readings where it's all about, you know, the answers. You have the information that you need and the wisdom you need within you. You came to Earth with a plan. You knew what it was you needed to achieve. And then when we come here, we forget all the planning and everything that happened on the other side before we actually made it here. And when you are still, when you do the deep spiritual work and you ground yourself and you meditate and you're able to actually create that stillness, and then you're able to hear the messages that are coming through, it will tell you exactly where you need to go. So everything that you need is within you. You have the ability to do all of this. And I feel like this is a really good reading. I just feel like it's a week where we need to focus and go within. So the last deck I pulled is the Magic of Unicorns. So I think we'll do two of these. And the first one is Shower of Blessings. Open yourself to receive, pay it forward. So you're in a position where the universe is going to give you what it is you need, what it is you require, what it is you desire. You need to remember that you need to come from a place of abundance, not a place of fear. If you come from a place of fear and a place where you're stuck in a mindset of lack, you're lacking money, you're lacking this, you're lacking that. I understand we all have tough times. And I have talked about moments in time where I felt that I had my back up against the wall and I had no money and I didn't know how I was going to get out of this situation. And then the universe put me in a situation where there was a homeless man sitting there, not asking for anything, but it gave me clarity that I had a roof over my head. I had food in my belly. I was going to be warm that night while this man slept on the street. And with that, I got out of my car and I gave him every bit of cash that I had on me because I realized that I was fine. And the moment I did that, things started coming into my life. So when you are being blessed with things, make sure you keep that mindset of abundance. Make sure you give to others, whether it be emotionally, spiritually, financially, perhaps if you're able to help somebody out. It doesn't need to be a lot of money, but just if you keep that energy going and flowing, the universe will keep bringing things back to you. So don't ever, ever, ever forget it. That was that day with that man. He and I talked for a little bit when I gave him the money that I had on me. That was a huge learning point for me. And it's a moment that I will cherish and remember until the day that I die. So in those moments where I feel like I'm screwed, I always have to put everything back into perspective. And as Amanda in the chat is saying, attitude of gratitude, absolutely 100%. Okay, so the final card for this reading is Divine Potential. Fulfill your destiny, be all that you can be. If that's not the most perfect way to wrap this reading up, I don't know what is. This is summing up everything that I have just said. Fulfill your destiny. You know exactly what it is you're meant to be doing. You know it. You have those answers within you. So it's time to get real, do the work, and fulfill your destiny. It's time. The universe is calling. If you have watched this reading, I always say, take what resonates, leave what doesn't. And I stand by that. But I feel like if you are watching this reading is for you. I mean, it's telling you everything that you need to do to create the best possible life and to follow essentially the divine plan that you made with the universe, God, creator, however you like to call on that person, individual entity, everything that you set up to do in this life, and you have every capability. Now is the time to tap into that and really do it. Make sure you are taking care of yourself in the process. You can take care of yourself and take care of others at the same time. And if you need a break for a short amount of time, it's okay to do that. The people that love you and support you will give you the grace and space to do all of that. So, and if they're not prepared to, are they really your friend? I hope that everybody who's watching this is already a subscriber. If you're not already, please hit the subscribe button, like, share, follow, comment, just so that we can keep this channel running. For those of you that are watching the replay on High Vibe, I apologize that I wasn't able to do it live, but Anne had other commitments, so I had to do this on my own. But I hope everybody has a wonderful week. I will be doing deep astrology. That's happening at the moment, I believe. I will be doing full disclosure with David on High Vibe on Friday. I will be remote because I will be in Florida visiting some friends, which I'm super excited about. And then when I get back, it'll be time for the February monthly reading. So I will make sure I get that up on the 30th or the 31st. And I hope that everybody has the most wonderful week. Bye, everyone.